Ways to make your long-distance relationship last, according to experts. Physical distance shouldn't be a barrier to happiness. Long-distance relationships are challenging. Although you may have strong feelings for your partner, prolonged periods of time apart and a lack of physical intimacy can put any couple's bond to the test. Deciding to commit to a long-distance relationship is an important decision, and couples have to be clear about their expectations, feelings, and boundaries before moving forward with this type of relationship. Communication, trust, and emotional intimacy have to lay the foundation so that the couple can continue to grow, even if they're miles apart. The good news is that long-distance relationships are not impossible. Challenging times call for some flexibility, which is a hallmark of a successful relationship. While it is difficult, not being in close physical proximity, it is an opportunity to deepen and enrich the relationship in ways you may not have been able to do previously, says Rabbi Shlomo Slatkin, MS, a licensed clinical professional counselor and a certified Imago relationship therapist at the MarriageRestorationProject.com. Long-distance relationships present the chance to get to know your partner on a deeper level, strengthen your emotional intimacy, and sustain a lasting connection. It will also be a test if your relationship has staying power, Slatkin says. Thankfully, we live in the 21st century and have technology, so there are plenty of ways to maintain communication and an intimate connection with your partner at a distance. Having daily phone calls, video chatting, and scheduling virtual dates are just some of the ways you can stay close with your significant other. And if the spark ever starts to diminish, we have plenty of tips from experts to keep your relationship fresh, exciting, and intimate. Yep, even physically. Here are smart tips from experts and Prevention.com editors to help your long-distance relationship make it through the long haul. Stay connected with daily calls and check-ins. Although communication is important to all relationships, openly communicating with your partner is especially vital for couples in long-distance relationships, says Carla Marie Manley, PhD, clinical psychologist and author. Many long-distance relationships deteriorate when partners forget to engage in little rituals that build healthy connection. It's important to remember that small niceties like a tender goodnight call or a loving wake-up text go a long way, she says. And use a full range of ways to keep in touch. Ryan Drzewiecki, PsyD, Director of Psychology at All Points North Lodge, suggests relying on various means of communicating outside of a phone call. Send photos and videos throughout the day, share memes that made you laugh, link an article you found to be thought-provoking, or send a care package through the mail, he says. By mixing it up, you keep everything interesting and fun and avoid having the act of communication become a dull routine. Video chat with your partner weekly. Communication is essential to making long-distance relationships work, but seeing your partner's face is especially important to maintaining the connection, says Fran Walfish, PsyD, Beverly Hills and New York City-based family and relationship psychotherapist, author of The Self-Aware Parent, regular expert child psychologist on The Doctors, CBS TV, and co-star on WeTV. Through video chatting, couples can read body language, facial cues, and additional messages that tell us how the other person truly feels, Walfish says. The goal is to learn what feels good to her and communicate what feels good to you. Find creative ways to bond. To keep the relationship fresh and exciting, dream up some creative ways to connect with your partner. If you want to have a movie night, thanks to Amazon Prime, Netflix, and other streaming services, it's very possible to set up a date night to Skype or Zoom while the two of you Netflix and chill, says Christopher Ryan Jones, PsyD, psychologist and sex therapist, member of both the American Psychological Association, APA, and host of Sex Therapy with Dr. Christopher Ryan Jones podcast. He also suggests surprising your partner with flowers, chocolates, or other thoughtful gifts they'll appreciate from miles away. Have a virtual date night. While watching a movie at the same time as your partner is an obvious way to have virtual date night, there are plenty of other exciting options that couples can do to build romance while physically apart. Tara Overzat, PhD, online mental health counselor at Getting Overzat, recommends enjoying a meal together over Zoom or doing a virtual tour of a museum, such as the Louvre, together. Even when you are apart, it is important to carve out time for a special activity the two of you can do together, she says. Find shared activities. Even though you're far apart, it is important to do things together. In addition to just talking on the phone or using FaceTime, Drzewiecki says, adding that long-distance couples can synchronize activities like morning coffee, eating lunch, watching shows, or playing games together. Shared activities will keep you engaged and interested in one another and prevent the relationship from falling in a rut, he says. Maintain sexual intimacy. Although it could be challenging to create a sex life without physical connection, it's certainly not impossible, says Carolina Pataki, PhD, licensed marriage and family therapist, clinical sexologist, and certified sex therapist. It's important to make the effort to be open and honest with one another about your needs, feelings, and desires. Thanks to our technological advances, you can maintain sexual connection, she says, adding that long-distance couples should give virtual sex a try. Sex can be a way for you to bond with your partner and share pleasure and fun. Distance does not mean the intimacy is gone, Jones says. You can take virtual sex up another level with a couple's vibrator. Fortunately, there are companies like WeVibe that make amazing products that your partner can control from anywhere in the world, he says, referring to the WeVibe Sync. Establish expectations. With the element of distance, couples should discuss their expectations and desires for the relationship. Manage unhealthy habits by communicating and taking responsibility for your fears, needs, and hopes. Pataki says, both of you need to be clear with what you expect of each other during this long-distance relationship. Be honest about your wants and needs. Couples in a long-distance relationship must be honest about their desires and needs, says Saba Haruni Luri, a licensed marriage and family therapist and founder of Take Root Therapy, a group psychotherapy practice in Los Angeles. If you're afraid to ask for something, let your partner know you're a little nervous about bringing it up, she recommends. Hopefully, you and your partner are able to hear each other without judgment and come to a compromise. Don't forget to openly discuss any concerns. Manley says, in long-distance relationships, there can be a temptation to compartmentalize or avoid discussing bothersome issues. Healthy long-distance relationships thrive when partners trust that they can safely discuss their worries and concerns, she says. Romance tends to grow stronger, and couples feel more connected when they face the good and the not-so-good times as a team. Build trust. Trust is the basis for all good relationships, Wallfish explains. Once trust is established and you feel safe, inhibitions decrease and free us to let loose, be ourselves, and be free within the context of coupling up. Wallfish says that long-distance couples can be built through consistent communication, specifically over video chat. The foundation of developing trust can begin long distance through Skype conversations, she says.